If you have any questions during this presentation, please type them in the chat on the right side of your screen. You will receive the answers to your questions following this presentation.
Good morning. My name is Amy Dunn, and I'm the principal at Lynn Classical High School, and I'm also a proud graduate of LCHS. Welcome to school year 2020-2021. I look forward to learning with you all this year. As we gear up to begin a school year unlike any other, I want you to know that the RAM fam is committed to connecting and building relationships with all of our students, creating engaging, challenging, and relevant learning experiences with all of our students, providing support and being champions for each and every one of our students. First, I want to welcome our new students to LCHS and welcome back our returning RAMs. Our work together changed abruptly in the spring and challenged us to adapt to our new situation. I won't call it the new normal because I'm staying faithful to the idea that we will be back together and able to enjoy collaborating and learning, laughing in the hallways, sharing lunch with a new friend before we know it. Until then, we're going to work towards building community virtually and learning together remotely so we can all continue to grow and achieve in a safe and supportive environment. I have been continuously impressed by the teachers' innovation and commitment to their students, and I know that they are up to the task of successfully navigating their classes through remote learning. Many spent their summer researching, planning, and incorporating new strategies to employ to meet our students' needs. The Lynn Public Schools has invested in a learning management system, Schoology, to ease the sharing of information and to help support students' learning. Our students can and will thrive in a virtual world. We have dedicated educators that will do all they can to support your student. Lynn Classical High School has a variety of courses and levels of support so that we can meet students where they are and help them to grow. Our special education department supports students with autism through our coach program, reading growth through our TLC program, support for language-based disabilities, and many students benefit from our inclusion program and learning center. We have ESL supports through level 5. We have 17 AP courses, partnerships with both North Shore Community College and Salem State College for an early college program. We have honors courses and regular education courses, and something to meet all student needs. Students can earn IT certificates and can graduate with a seal of biliteracy in multiple languages. Students can take AP art, theater classes, concert choir, band, and more. We continue to build in new electives that both challenge and support our students and are committed to offering courses that provide students with opportunities, skills, and information that they'll need to be competitive in a global society. Social, emotional, and physical health is also a priority here at LCHS. We have multiple layers of support services and continue to collaborate with outside agencies for wraparound supports. Students will benefit from 6 guidance counselors, 2 social workers, a full-service librarian, an adjustment counselor, and 2 school nurses. LCHS welcomed a BRIGHT program last year that provides Tier 3 supports for students that have missed time through physical or mental illness. We've also partnered with Youth Harbors that supports youth suffering with food insecurities, homelessness, or other social issues that face our unaccompanied youth. We are lucky to be adding an early college coach to support our new and growing program. We also have a fully functioning teen health center through Lynn Community Health that provides both physical and behavioral health. We've been working towards each student having a mentoring room teacher for their entire 4 years here so that every student has an adult that they can turn to for help and will act as a first responder, linking students to services and helping students to set goals. We also support all students joining clubs, sports, and activities. Students can play a variety of sports, including football, soccer, volleyball, golf, track, baseball, basketball, hockey, softball, lacrosse, tennis, swimming, and diving. We have many clubs and activities to support all students' development, like the African American Club, Spanish Club, Latin Club, English Club, Math Team, A Straight Alliance, Gaming Club, Mock Trial, Art, Theater, Dance, College Bowl, and more. Students can run for student government, represent their classes in the school or student council, and also volunteer. Students support each other as student ambassadors, coach aides, and peer tutors. In response to student interest and need to create more supportive environments for all students, we have started an equity panel where student voices can be heard and social issues can be challenged. We encourage all to take part in extracurricular activities to develop interest and integrate into the classical community. Most importantly, we want to build a community that's inclusive to all. Lynn is a vibrant community with students from all over the world that bring strengths and culture from around the world. We want to develop respectful relationships where both adults and students learn continuously and in support of each other. We are proud to call ourselves the Rand Fam, and we are continuously looking to find new ways to support and grow our community. So again, welcome to all of our ninth graders and new students, and welcome back to all of our returning students. Let us work together to make classical an amazing school and this an amazing school year. We will be starting our school year on Schoology with students working from home to ensure safety for students and families. It is our sincere hope to move to a hybrid model if it becomes safe to do so. We are all hoping and praying to be back together. It is so important for families and students to do what they can to fully engage with the remote schooling. This means picking up your device from school and logging into mentoring and your classes each and every day. We have advocated to keep all courses in place for this year as we value students' access to core academics, as well as the electives that support students' personal journeys. We have a new schedule for remote learning, and students will have both schoolwork that is done with the teacher virtually, synchronous, and assignments that will be completed on their own and shared with the teacher, asynchronous. Schools will continue to provide lunch and breakfast options to families, although it may look a little different in the fall. Our support services will still be here to help your students adjust and be successful. Unlike the spring, students will be earning grades and building their GPA, and students will be expected to attend all of their classes daily and complete assignments in a timely fashion. The increase in structure and accountability is important to your students' success at both classical and their future endeavors, and we want to make sure that we are mitigating any loss of learning and giving our students all of the tools they will need to navigate whatever their future brings. Details will be shared as part of the student and parent orientations with dates and times to follow. We are committed to doing all we can to accelerate your students' learning, support their social emotional needs, and to collaborate with you in navigating this unprecedented situation. As always, thank you for sharing your students with us. It is our honor and pleasure to work with you and your child. Thank you. Stay safe and healthy.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mrs. Toomey, one of the guidance counselors, and I'm excited to welcome you back for your sophomore year of high school. I hope that you and your families are staying healthy and safe, and that you are excited to start your new school year as well. You have had quite a start to your high school career, with your freshman year being interrupted by the coronavirus pandemic, and your sophomore year is starting off a bit different than we're used to as well. But remember, different doesn't necessarily mean that it will be worse. It's just going to be different than what we're used to. So let's get started. Last year, most of you had Mrs. Glowick and Mrs. Fisher as a guidance counselor. This year, for the start, Mrs. Smiley will be filling in for Mrs. Fisher, who had a baby last spring. This year, you will all be divided up to new guidance counselors according to your last name. Mrs. Doucette works with students whose last names begin with the letters A through the letters D, E. Mrs. Dupre works with students whose last names begin with the letter D, F and go through the letter L. Mr. Hayward works with all students with the last names that begin with the letter M through the letters RN. And me, Mrs. Toomey, I work with students at the end of the alphabet whose last names begin with the letters RO through the letters Z. So let's talk a little bit about how your sophomore year is going to compare to your freshman year. First, you're not the new people in the building anymore. This comes with some more independence, a little bit of higher expectation, but exciting things too. Like you guys are getting older, you're going to start driving and going and getting your learner's permit. You might be getting your first job, and more responsibilities for sure. But also, remember, you have already established some relationships in our building. You know friends, students, and staff members. So if you have questions, please reach out to any of us. As always, your grades are very important. We want you to challenge yourself with some new and difficult classes, but it's very important to maintain good grades as well. And just like your grades, your physical, mental, and emotional health are all very important. If you're planning to apply to college, or even if you're not sure yet, you're going to do that at the beginning of your senior year. This means that the grades that colleges will be looking at for admissions come from grades 9, 10, and 11. So it's really important to do the best you can do all of the time. One of the things that can help you do your best is staying organized. Here are some tips to help you do your best while you're at home. Figure out how and where you study best and practice it. Keep a planner in whatever way works for you and stick with it, whether it be writing things down on paper, keeping it on your phone, or using your computer. Give yourself reminders for important dates, for tests, projects, and quizzes, and use folders or binders to keep your school papers in order. Our new program, Schoology, has a built-in calendar that will help you keep organized, and I'm going to encourage all of you to check that daily. Now, I know you're all excited to get your schedules, but it's very important for you to review your schedule when you get it to make sure that you have all of your graduation requirements. All 10th grade students will have 7 periods of classes. That is periods A through G. It's very important when you get your schedule to make sure that you have all of your requirements, including English 10, math, a history class, as well as a science class. If you feel like you have a mistake on your schedule or you're missing a class or a period, contact your guidance counselor right away and we'll look into it. Now let's talk about some different ways that you'll be able to get in touch with your guidance counselor. Jupiter Messages will be available for a brief time. This will be temporary because Jupiter is being replaced by Schoology. Schoology also has an email system that allows you to email your teachers, your guidance counselors, and administrators whenever you need to. We'll also have some Microsoft Forms available, and of course, we can schedule face-to-face meetings via Zoom. So even though you'll be learning from home, I just want to remind you that all of the school support and resources are still available to you. We still have our 2 social workers, Mr. Bishop and Mrs. Cushing, our 2 nurses, Nurse June and Nurse Jen, and the Teen Health Center is still available. So if you'd like to speak with Kerry, she's available anytime. If you need help with your computers or if your passwords don't work, you can reach out to the service desk or call the number on the screen. And breakfast and lunch will be available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday throughout the school year from 12 to 2:30 p.m. On Mondays and Wednesdays, you'll be able to pick up 2 days worth of meals, and on Friday, you'll be able to pick up 3 days worth of meals. Now, as you can see from the list on the screen, meals will be offered at all of the following school locations throughout the city. There are 19 schools that will be serving lunch on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So you do not have to necessarily come to Lynn Classical to pick up your breakfast and lunch. You can go to whatever school is closest to your neighborhood. Now, we definitely want you to send us messages and ask us questions along the way. But I just want to remind everybody to communicate appropriately and professionally in these messages. One helpful tip I have is to include enough details in your messages and be specific and clear about what your question is. That will help us get back to you a lot quicker. Now let's take a quick look at our new remote schedule. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because Mrs. Dunn is going to be reviewing this shortly with you in a lot more detail. But some of the important things I'd like to highlight is mentoring room at 7:45 to 7:55 every morning. This is extremely important because this is where attendance will be taken. Just like I had mentioned earlier about your grades being very important, attendance every day is part of that. Now, if you look at this, you'll notice that it's mostly green and gold, just like our school colors. Green is when you'll be in front of your teachers and you'll have your teachers' support during class time. The yellow is what we're calling our asynchronous learning time. That's when you will be learning independently. But during these yellow periods, this is when your school counselors will be available to meet with you individually and in groups as needed. Now, I know you all have probably a ton of questions, so I'm going to encourage you to type those questions into the chat. What we're going to do is we're going to collect all of your questions and put them into a frequently asked questions document, and we'll send that out to all of you to help you transition back to school and to this new learning from home. As this school year starts, I'd like to encourage everybody to practice patience. Be patient with yourselves while you learn our new Schoology program and you learn to school from home. But also be patient with your teachers. We're also learning this too. Together, we're going to have a great school year. Welcome back, everybody.
Good afternoon, Lynn Classical. This is Ms. Dunn back with some important information about our new remote schedule. We want to make sure that you understand the different parts of the day and how work is going to be done in our remote setting. So I'm going to go through the different parts of the schedule and explain a little bit about the difference between synchronous and asynchronous work so that everyone knows what the expectations are starting in the fall. In the spring when we left, we were working through engagement, meaning that because not everybody had devices and we weren't able to fully engage everyone, we just worked on practicing things that we had already learned. This fall is a whole new world, and that we're going back to the teaching and learning that we would normally do in person, just doing it virtually. So you're going to have grades, you're going to have expectations, you're going to have attendance. So we're really back to the new normal in a virtual world. So I'm going to explain a little bit about what that's going to look like so that everyone understands. First, if you look at the blue part of the schedule, the mentoring room, you're going to have a virtual mentoring room every morning from 7:45 to 7:55. All students must attend, and this is where your attendance is going to be taken that is loaded into the state and is also what's counted towards your attendance policy. So it's very important that you meet during that time and get counted for being here. It's also a really important time that you're going to build a relationship with an adult in the building that can be a great help to you if you're having issues, if you need support. They're going to act as a first responder to link you to other supports in the building, like guidance, the school nurse, the library, things like that you may need help accessing. They're going to be your kind of first responder to help you get there. So very important time, and everyone must attend. Another piece of the day where you're going to be attending directly with your teachers is the green portion at the top where you can see A, B, C, D, E, F, G. As you can see, this schedule is much more like a college schedule where classes meet Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday. And you can see the first 4 periods in your schedule meet Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 55 minutes, and EFG meets Tuesday and Thursday for a longer period. They're equal minutes across all of your classes. This is going to be synchronous time. Synchronous time means time you're going to work together with your classmates and your teacher. So you will be signed onto a Zoom or conferences in Schoology, and you're going to be working directly with your teacher, hearing from them, getting new content, having class discussions, working on common goals with your class. So you're expected to be in every one of those classes that you're assigned to, and attendance will be taken. Next during the day is the orange part of the day, which is your lunchtime. That's free time that you're going to be working on your own, and enjoying the day. Next is the goal time, and that's asynchronous time. So that's when you're working independently. You might be reading, writing, watching supporting videos, and practicing skills so that the time you spend together in your class in the green, you're ready to have meaningful discussions and learning experiences. So it's kind of a flipped classroom. And what I mean by that is you're doing the prep work in the gold, and then when you get together with the rest of your classmates in the green, you're able to really dig into the work and go deeper with your classmates' help. So what this kind of means is that there's no longer homework, or we can say that all of it's homework right now. But we definitely need to think a little bit differently and realize that there's going to be really meaningful work happening in the gold that's going to really support your learning in the green. The next piece of your schedule is the remote guided support. This, in some ways, is like what an after school would be like with one of your teachers, but it's a little bit different. So this is time where you may want to check in with your teachers and ask any questions about work you've done in the asynchronous piece that you didn't understand, get any clarification on any long-term projects that you're working on, or just get a little extra help working through a skill, like a math problem. It also may be time that if you weren't able to gain a skill, let's say during your science class, that your science teacher might say to 3 or 4 students in your class, I'm going to ask you to come back during remote guided support, and you're required to go back. So it's not optional like an after-school program. This is happening during your school day, and this is to help really make sure that any learning lost in the spring, as well as any misconceptions that you have right now, are clarified and worked on with your teacher's support. This also may be a time where someone taking an AP class or someone that's really doing well in class may get some extra support so they can really achieve on a test or really achieve in moving forward with your future goals. So what this means for that dark green piece called remote guided support is that it's definitely time that's open for you to check in with your teacher if you need to and you decide to. However, it's also time that your teacher may ask you, and you must work with them to move forward in your learning. So, some new things about the schedule that we want to, a place where you had a study hall, so all students should have a minimum of 6 courses. Let's say you would have been scheduled for a study hall B period. There's no longer going to be a time where you have to sit in a Zoom and meet with a teacher. That time is going to be on your own where you're doing asynchronous work, meaning the same kind of work that you're doing in the yellow. So you won't have an official study hall to sign into, but you are expected to get this asynchronous work done. Also, your guidance counselors, your social workers, and other school supports are going to work hard to reach out to you during the goal time so that we can not interrupt the precious time you have with your teachers so that you're continuing your learning and accelerating your learning. Another thing that we had when we were together is extended mentoring. We don't have them scheduled yet, but we do intend to have an extended mentoring a month to kind of check in with students. It might be a time where you get mass information from your teachers. Also maybe a time where we work through a social emotional learning lesson. So again, expect that once a month you might have an extended mentoring period where you get a little bit of extra time with your mentoring teacher to build community and to do some of these SEL lessons. One thing that I haven't talked about yet, and it's highlighted in pink, and it's really for teachers, but it's time I want families to understand, is that part of our teacher schedule is to do family outreach. We understand that this is a whole new world with learning remotely, and we want to make sure that we are communicating regularly with families on positives and on issues that arise so that your student is successful. So I left that on there even though that's really part of the adult schedule so that families know that to expect communications with your teachers and with your vice principals so that we can make sure that we're all successful in this together. And I'm really excited about our new learning management system. I think it has possibilities to have resources for students even outside of their regular school time, which is going to be a great asset for a lot of our students. There's going to be opportunities for them to replay and learn and continue to learn outside of their time in the classroom. I also think it's going to be a great way to add new and exciting technological resources that we haven't had in the past. I do want to reiterate, this is new for teachers, this is new for administrators, and it's certainly new for our students and families. So we know that there's going to be a learning curve, and we know that there's going to be hiccups, but we appreciate just working through those with you, and we're going to be successful in this together. So I wanted to assure you that we're going to support you the best that we can, and that we're working through this together, and it's going to be great. So thank you, and have a great evening.
Hi everyone. It is my honor to be here serving classical students as one of the vice principals this school year. And I want you to know that you are my priority. Your health and safety in and out of school, your education, and your future. I know the road ahead, it won't be easy, but it will be worth it.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are watching your orientation. I want to welcome everybody back. We are excited about this upcoming school year. It's not the school year that we all want. We would much rather be in person, but here we are remote. This year I'll be working with the freshmen as I always have. I will also be working with half of the sophomore class. But for the juniors and the seniors in the building, as always, if there's anything I can do for you, please reach out. We're excited to see where this school year takes us, and I wish everybody the best of luck. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I want to welcome you back to another school year. My name is Mr. Thompson, and I will be the vice principal working with grades 12, 11, and half of the 10th grade. We have a very different school year ahead of us, but that's not going to change the expectations that we have for you. Even though most of the classrooms this year will actually be taking place inside of your house instead of inside of the school building, we still expect you to behave and work as hard as you can. At the end of last year, the online curriculum was put together very quickly. This year, we've had a lot of time and effort to go ahead and put forth something that's going to be very meaningful for you. But we have to be able to communicate, and that's going to be the key to making sure that you're successful. If you're having trouble or difficulty, you have to reach out to us. The communication is going to be very different than what it was in the past. In the past, I'd see you in the hallway or I'd see you in the cafeteria. Some of you I've had private conversations with inside of my office, but we're not going to be able to communicate like that this year. Most of the communications are going to take place electronically, either through a Zoom or through email, through Schoology, which you're going to learn about, and through Jupiter, which we'll have you until the beginning of the year. But I can't stress enough how we have to be able to communicate. If you're struggling and you can't meet the expectations, you have to let us know. Hopefully before the end of the school year, we're able to get some normalcy back and we can have a prom and we can have graduation. But right now we need to focus on getting you guys up and running, getting you to your classrooms, getting you a device if you haven't got it yet, getting you logged into Schoology, and making sure that you're ready to be successful. So I miss all of you. I'm looking forward to a great school year. It's going to be a lot of challenges in front of us, but I think we're all up for the task. Have a great day.
This is a journey that we have never encountered before, so we want to give you the best guidelines that we can to help you with a successful school year. First is to be on time. Log on a few minutes before class to help yourself if there are any technical issues that you have so you're not late to the class. Find yourself a quiet place where you can focus and concentrate for your class for the day. Be prepared. Make sure your computer is charged, your camera is on, and if you need to use headphones, that you have them ready and available. Presentation during the class while you're on. Dress appropriately, sit up, be in view, mute your mic when you are entering a class, and unmute when you are in a chat room or when you're called upon by your teacher. Participation in the class. Be focused, pay attention, and be an active participant in the classes. Responsibility, listening to others, raising your hand to speak, and type your questions in the chat box. Communicating. Speak slowly and clearly while you're on the video. Looking into the speaker while speaking. Stay on topic while you're being asked questions from the teacher. Respectfulness. Be kind, be considerate, and be courteous of others in the class. Some other things to help you and things that we will expect you to do is to log into your mentoring room daily at between 7:45 and 7:55, so you are marked present at school for the day. Report to any office hours if they are requested by your teacher. This is a spot where you can get extra help, and if they request for you to be there, it's not an option because it's still in the school day, so we will expect for you to be there with the teachers. Display your full name as listed for the on-class meetings. Use appropriate academic language while speaking or commenting or posting on coursework. Display school-appropriate backgrounds or profile images. Contact your instructor within 24 hours if you run into any technical issues. Avoid side conversations and students engaging in the classroom activities. What students will not be allowed to do, and what we don't expect of our students, is to use technology or cell phones during synchronous work. Taking any devices out and around while they're in their homes, just stay at a neutral spot to avoid any movement while you're in that class, only in between classes. Change your background or profile picture to someone else's. Students should not take any screenshots or pictures of a classroom without permission. Students should not post classroom activities on any social media platforms. Students should not cause any deliberate action to the teachers or their peers. Students should also not participate in any behaviors that would not be allowed in a classroom. Students should not use texting or other abbreviated language while in the classwork or in discussion. One last piece of advice is to please don't stress out if you're having technical problems with your device. Let us know what the problem is. We will try to get the help that you need. Let anyone in the administration know, let your teachers know, and we will try to get you back on track, moving in the right direction. Again, this is all new to us. We will get through this together, and I think we will come out extremely happy with what this school year brings for us with this unknown. And hopefully, before the school year is over, we are back together as one.
Now that we have the computer out of the box, let's turn it on by simply holding down the power button for approximately 1 second. On the screen that says, "Let's start with region," United States is highlighted. Select Yes. On the screen that says, "Is this the right keyboard layout?" US should be highlighted. Then select Yes. On the screen that says, "Want to add a second keyboard layout?" Select Skip. On the screen that says, "Let's connect you to a network," select your home Wi-Fi network, then enter your password. Select No to "Do you want to allow your PC to be discoverable by other PCs and devices on this network?" Once connected, select Next on the bottom right of the screen. This will update, restart, and apply settings. Once you have finished applying settings, you can log on using a username and password. For example, STU180181 @linschools.org, and of course, your password. Also, be sure to use your own student ID number. To have your password reset or any other technology-related questions, please email servicedesk@linschools.org or call the help desk at 781-477-7342 and leave a message between the hours of Monday through Thursday, 7:45 through 2:45, and Friday, 7:45 through 12:45. Schoology will provide students with everything they need for remote learning. Schoology can be accessed on a desktop or laptop computer. It can also be accessed through the web browser on a tablet and a mobile device. For now, I will be showing you how to log in as a student. First, you need to access your web browser. Google Chrome is my preferred web browser. Next, you will log on to linschools.schoology.com, and you should arrive to this page. It will be helpful to bookmark the page or save it to your desktop. You will arrive here and must enter your Microsoft credentials. This means your student ID as your username and the password you use to log into school computers. If you are prompted to this screen after logging in, be sure that you have one option set up to secure your account. If you do not, you can click Set Up Now next to one of the options. For example, if I click on Set Up Now next to Phone, my phone number will be used to verify my account. Again, you only need to set up one option. After you do this, click Finish, and Schoology will open. Once you do this, you will be ready to start working in Schoology. Comcast is offering free internet for all families. Call or email the Lynn School Service Desk to obtain the promo code and apply today at internetessentials.com using your computer or mobile device. Please note, if you've already signed up for Internet Essentials for the COVID-19 2-month free promo, please contact the Lynn School Service Desk to have your account transferred to the school account for additional free months.
Hi, ma'am, fam. My name's June Blake. I'm one of the nurses here at Classical.
And I'm Nurse Jen.
We are here for all your healthcare needs. Anything you may need throughout the year, we will still be available to you via phone, 781-477-7196, or you can email us, and you can find that on the Lynn Public Schools website. We are also part of the Schoology program, and we are trying really hard to get good at that. What we want to remind you, though, please wash your hands, wear your mask, and continue to social distance. The better we get at this, the sooner we'll be together.
And don't forget your emergency forms. Even though we're not in person yet, they're still very important for us to have.
Can't wait to meet you all in person. Stay healthy. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in. At this point, you can take a short break before logging into Zoom for a mandatory mentoring room at 1 p.m. Attendance will be taken. Zoom links have been sent to you in Jupyter and posted within your mentoring room course in Schoology.
Is home to the Ram family. We pride ourselves in safety and cultural diversity. Expectations are high. We are lifelong learners. We're committed to our beliefs. Let's sing together. LCHS, we are the Rams, charging forth together. Taking a stand for our future, for our families, for our teachers and our friends. We're the Ram fam, together we stand. LCHS, we are the Rams, charging forth together. Taking a stand for our future, for our families, for our teachers and our friends. We're the Ram.
Yo he soñado con ser alguien en la vida, pero nunca pensé que eso me iba a traer herida. Tengo que estudiar para encontrar la salida, vencer todos los retos y pararme la caída. Cosas importantes que yo quiero lograr, pero primero yo tengo que estudiar. No hay obstáculo en la vida que me puedan parar. Quiero tener dinero y mi familia ayudar. Respeta a tu prójimo, así tiene que ser, pero nunca olvides que tienes que aprender. Tu mente preparada para poder vencer. Piensa en el futuro y así lo podrás ver. Los errores que cometemos nos hacen más fuerte. Escucha lo que te digo, así no podrás caerte. Esta escuela es como nuestra casa. No importa tu color, no importa tu raza. Somos una unión, somos una alianza. Dime qué te pasa, levántate y avanza. El mejor consejo es el que te das tú mismo. Todos somos hermanos, dile no al racismo. Somos una familia, somos un hogar. Para aprender, también para avanzar. La bandera y la victoria tienes que levantar. Agarrémonos de manos y empecemos a cantar.
LCHS, we are